Okay, so once again, the left have been attacking the English language, and they now call them paedophiles. Yes, that's right, paedophiles, child rapists, whatever you want to call them, disgusting pigs, perverts, child rapists. They now call them attracted. It's here on Australian Sky News. Attracted minor persons. We did this with a woman. We did it with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is now chest feeding. And if a woman has a young boy, that boy is no longer, when it's born, the left, they say it's no longer a boy. It's just the gender at given birth, but it can be a girl, because the left believe that when you're older, a boy can become a girl, or that the young boy at 3 or 4 is old enough to decide its own gender or own gender identity, transgender, however you want to put it, whatever you believe in, but the facts state the facts. You are a male at birth, you are a male whether you put a dress on or not. And what has happened here, a so-called professional person, literally a person, can't call them male or female now based on their own ideas. So this professional person now has came along from some university and states that a paedophile, child rapist, is no longer a paedophile, is no longer someone that should be sentenced to prison, no longer someone that should stay away from your children, no longer someone that should stay away from primary schools or should be in prison or do a life sentence. That person now is someone that is just a minor attractive to children. So here we go, let's have a look at this. Once again, Sky News Australia.
Not a pedophile. Well, when you change the language.
I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attractive persons. And I want to talk about minor attractive persons because they are...
First off, let's just pause it there. She generally looks like a lesbian / man. I wouldn't even know what to call that thing. Like she does. She generally looks like a lesbian / man. Like I don't even know what she looks like. Someone from the Steve Jobs advert. You know the Steve Jobs advert where they're all just walking in line. She looks like that. But you can very clearly tell this person is someone who's claiming to be, and she has a YouTube channel you can see called Sexual, which sounds awful by the way. Sexual Safety Space. What the hell is that about? Sexual Safety Space. I don't want to be anywhere near your safety space. That sounds awful. So I haven't been on that YouTube channel before or seen. I'm assuming that's her YouTube channel she has where she promotes these sort of ideas. And this person who very clearly looks like she has some sort of mental health problems. She's a professional counsellor. And coming back to these ideas, this is the problem we have. We have professional counsellors that have problems of their own, counselling young children who have anxiety or depression, and they say to them, well, the problem you have, you don't have depression, you don't have anxiety, you need to be put on drugs, medication, puberty blockers. You don't feel anxiety or depressed, you just feel like you're not in your right body. You just need to be, take these pills, take these puberty blockers, become a man, become a male, become a woman. Perhaps you're just not yourself. Perhaps you don't identify as yourself. Perhaps you need to start identifying as a female, or perhaps you need to identify as cisgender or bigender or androgender or all these dozens and dozens of other genders. And these young children are getting those ideas in their heads by professional counsellors, such as this woman, and many other counsellors that are out there, or just the university professors themselves that are teaching this leftist group of ideas that they all share. Anyway, let's continue watching.
The most vilified population of folks in our culture, and most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them, and those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population.
Can I just... Okay. First, they're causing harm to children. They should be vilified. If anything, yes, vilify them. Stone them. Literally stone them to death. These people should be vilified. They should be called pedophiles. They should be called child rapists. Be sent to prison. And, send them to prison. By the way, pedophiles, when they're in prison, do they have a nice time? No, they shouldn't have. When they're in prison, they should be getting stabbed, killed, murdered, whatever. They're pedophiles. They're pedophiles, child rapists. That's what they should be called. That's what language is for. You call someone a paedophile or a child rapist, so then you know exactly what they are. Not a person that is attracted to minors. Even so, you know what a person attracted to minors is? A paedophile. Not, that's the problem using this leftist language. It's like when it comes back to the whole, for example, it's no longer a woman that is giving birth anymore because they don't believe it. They believe men can also give birth. Because apparently they don't agree with science or biology that's been around for tens and thousands of years. Because they say, men can also give birth, so women are no longer allowed the right to have, given birth. It's no longer any pregnancy, it's now birth in person. Not sure if you've seen that, but women, it's now birth in person, it's no longer pregnancy. And they said that in Congress. So the language is slowly changing. But it's not only slowly changing, it's staying changed. Because anyone that speaks up and says, well, no, you can't say birth in person because it's pregnancy, they immediately get shot down. They get called bigot or misogynist. They get called all these things and they get attacked by the left, and they run the potential risk of losing their jobs or being attacked by other individuals on the left that could potentially destroy their career. And it's similar within sports as well. For example, you've got the trans athletes. Can you see if, in any reality, could you imagine a world where any one of those female athletes, talking back to the Beijing, it was Beijing 2021 or 2021, something like that, the Beijing Olympics, you had all the female swimmers, they were all doing great jobs at swimming, and you had that one male swimmer who was a trans athlete and destroyed all of their records, which most of these trans athletes have been doing, whether that's been in their swimming or weightlifting, or whether that was in the, you had CC Teflo as well, who was also destroying the women's records in their sprinting. But none of these athletes have been speaking up, and nor can they, because the moment they speak up, they get called bigots and transphobics. They're going to get called out. They could potentially be running the risk of losing a spot in the Olympics. They could, do anything. It's bad. What I'm saying, it's bad publicity for them, potentially. And they're not going to want that. All they're mainly focused on is trying to win the gold Olympics. But it's obviously much more harder for them to do that when they're competing against a man who's suddenly woken up and go, I want to be a woman, and compete against these other actual biological women that have been training for decades of their life. Putting decades of committed hard work, determination towards the end goal of winning a gold medal. Anyway, coming back to this, like I was saying, so-called professional counsellor, who, her name by the way is Miranda Galbraith.
You may have noticed that I'm using the term minor attracted persons, sometimes abbreviated to MAPS, instead of the more commonly used term pedophile. And I'm doing this because the term pedophile has moved from being a diagnostic label to being a judgmental, hurtful insult that we hurl at people in order to harm them or slander them. I also prefer person-first language that recognizes that any label we might apply to a person is only part of who they are.
No, No, no. On behalf of every parent, every auntie or uncle, every grandma or granddad, I'm going to stop you right there, lady. Shame on you, minor attracted person.
Okay, towards the end of that, notice her language she used, identify as. No, paedophiles don't get the option to identify as anything. They fucked a kid. They don't get the option to identify as something or identify as anything. They go to prison. You can choose to identify as whatever you want in prison. You don't get the option. You don't get the option, you don't get the choice to identify as a fairy or a zebra or a unicorn that's magical flying around skies. No, you're a paedophile, a child rapist, you go to prison. You don't get to be attracted, as she was saying, a minor attracted person. No, a minor, as I've said earlier, a minor attracted person is illegal. It's illegal to be attracted to minors. That's being a pedophile, that's being a child rapist. So no, you do not get the option and you do not get to change the language like that in order to cater to these criminals, these disgusting perverted criminals. Also, why should we be doing that? Why should we be making the language so soft in order to cater to these criminals? Also, not only that, but listening to what I've just shown you, it was more about the identity that they had. It wasn't about what they were or what they were actually doing. It wasn't about the crime they were committing. It's more about their identity, and that's what it is from the left. They don't care about the facts. They don't care about the crimes that these people are committing. They don't care about the families. They don't care about the children that are at actual genuine harm. Because her words were, they're at harm. But what the reason she thought they were at harm are for being called a paedophile. That's not harm, that's language. It comes back to the idea of words can hurt or words are violence. No. What's real violence are having pedos out on the streets harming children. That's real harm and real violence. Okay. Thank you for watching. This is my YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Thank you.